there we go. It popped up. Streaming live on YouTube. Right. We are live now on YouTube with ZENO. Come join. Becky, would you post? Actually, Dasha, would you mind posting the link in the Discord for the YouTube?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We are live with ZENO Robinson.
Hello.
I am not seeing the live video. Ah, there it is.
Uh-oh.
There we go. All right, we are live. Hey, Smashmaster 1234. Smashmaster's been at the very beginning with us for this con. Just gonna do some shout outs. We have Julian Hobbs saying hi, ZENO.
Oh, Julian. I know Julian. Hi, Julian.
Callum Bede screaming.
Hi, screaming. Hello.
We have Jojo Joe Bree F saying holy smokes, holy smokes.
Holy smokes.
And then, yeah, we have Cracker Jack doing the awoo face.
Awoo.
And Da Sugary Panda saying hi.
Hello, Sugary Panda.
All right, everybody, we are live with ZENO Robinson, voice actor, hero.
Try to be, you know what I'm saying? Day in life, you know what I'm saying?
You're being cast as different heroes like all across the industry. I mean, Cyborg, Hawks now. You played in Spider-Man as his best friend. Mm-hmm. What was the exact rendition of Spider-Man that was?
That is the current Disney XD Spider-Man show called Marvel's Spider-Man. I think they're doing the Maximum Carnage right now. Maximum Venom, one of those. The symbiotes are happening right now at the show. So it's most of what I know.
All right. So as far as like your questions, we have some mods that will be taking your questions, and we'll try to get to all of them in the last half here.
Okay.
So, ZENO, would you mind just telling us how you started in voice acting, like when you really like how you started and when it started picking up for you?
I started voice acting probably about 10 years ago, 10, 11 now, 12 now. Oof. And I was interested in acting. I took a theater class in middle school, and then my mom heard about this acting program on the radio. So then I went to the program, and then that's where I was introduced to my agents. Who then sent me on my first ever voiceover audition, and I'm very paraphrasing, which was for Ben 10, which I got, and then that kind of started like me knowing that voiceover was the thing. I started taking classes with Tony Gonzalez out in Culver City. He does like kids VO. He's really, really good for like beginning, especially with young kids who kind of don't know a lot of the technical aspects of voiceover. And he kind of taught me the ropes, everything I know. And then I did this dub of this movie called City of God. And then I didn't work again for like 7 years. And then Spider-Man was where I started picking up again. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. I started picking up again, I think probably like around 2015, because that's when I got onto Bingham's roster and did Super LA Blackluster for One Punch Man. And then Cyborg 009 when I played 008. And and then I think like a couple, and then Spider-Man was like I think a couple years after that, and then the year I think after Spider-Man was when it started picking up. Big City Greens happened, and Young Justice happened, and Craig of the Creek happened. So those all the same time, and then God has just been good to me ever since, I guess. So, you know, I kept staying classes. I was actually in class before we all went on lockdown. Really sad. But yeah, that's when it started. That's when it started picking up. Hope you heard all that. So it's suck.
There we go. Okay, sorry, my mic got muted.
Oh, no worries.
So awesome. Okay, so you've done recently, would you say like your kind of biggest roles right now are, I know you've done Remy, you've done Cyborg from Young Justice, and then you did, I mean, the One Punch Man character. And then most recently, you landed a certain role that has completely just exploded.
Oh yeah, Parker at Treasure X. Is that what we're talking about? We're talking about?
Maybe. So when I'm sure a lot of people here, when you found out that you landed the voice of Hawks, what went through your head?
I was like, yo, this isn't Sakaki. Where's my second Sakaki episode? No, I actually was incredibly shocked because I didn't think I was going to get it, to be honest. Like I auditioned, and I was like, no way. Like I read about like I looked him up when I got the audition, and I read like kind of what he does and his kind of his whole story up to the point of where the manga was at that point. And I was just like, no way. I'm just some guy from LA. Like there's no way I'm gonna be Hawks. But this was a cool audition. This was a cool opportunity. I'll get to be Sakaki. I'll get to say I'm in My Hero. But yeah, so when I got the email, I was like overjoyed, and I was shocked for a number of reasons. Representation being one of them, and being able to do more anime being another, and being able to kind of get a character I could really sink my teeth into and really explore. And so and a character, but also like very, very much fear because like Colleen even told me, she was like, this is a fan favorite character, like be ready. And I was like, ready for what? So a lot of nervousness, because like you kind of want to, I think any actor who like gets any role wants to nail it, but a role like if it's going to be in the eyes of the public, like even when Cyborg launched, I was very nervous because it was like my take on a popular character, on a character that people have already in their mind established what they kind of wanted it to be. I think I had the pleasure or the fortunate blessing of like Hawks. Everybody heard Hawks at the same time, the English and the Japanese. So I didn't feel like I was competing. I felt like we were rising together, So yeah.
Well, that's cool actually. The simulcast, right? Because
he was Nakamura-san was already cast as Hawks like before they did the English, but the movie hadn't come out yet. Like there were no clips or anything. So a lot of people were finding out about like what he sounded like in Japanese, what Hawk sounded like in Japanese, and what Hawk sounded like in English, kind of around the same time.
Okay, that's very unique for the anime industry. So that's interesting to see how well you've been received as the dub voice. Because I know that a lot of times anime voice actors, you guys kind of have to fight against a tide of I would even say that it's prejudice sometimes with.
I would agree. I think it's prejudice to an extent. I think I had this conversation with somebody else, and I really do truly think like a lot people, like, we attach to, if we love something, we kind of attach to our first like experience with that thing.
Right.
So like, you know, like I personally like the Dragon Ball Z dub because that's how I first experienced it, right? Like I would have to go, if I went to the Japanese, I would be like, this is weird for me, like that's not what Goku sounds like in my head. And I think like dub actors, unfortunately, most of the times the subs comes first, right? So
Right.
they, you know, the consumers are already getting, like, they're already getting the product before they get our version of the product. And so they already attach to what that is, right? Like that's
Yeah.
my whatever. So I think like that's part and parcel of it, is like everybody uh when you first fall in love with something, you fall in love with how it was presented to you the first time. So
Right. I think a good equivalent would be to uh, equate a dub voice actor kind of recasting a live action character, like in live action, how if they recast like an actor, that's kind of, and then the audience has to get used to that person.
yeah, kind of like light skin on Viv in the Fresh Prince, right? She was dark skin at first. We like dark skin on Viv, and then all of a sudden she's different. You know, like
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
what happened to the other on Viv?
Yeah. So I'm really like, I am really happy to see how well you've been received as that voice actor, because I mean you really deserve it. You
I appreciate
are
it.
I know that you've tried really hard to reach your fans and to like engage with the fans. And you're I think people are cosplaying you as
Me?
like you from when you
When I went to the premiere?
yes, from when you went to the
Really?
premiere. You haven't seen that?
Oh.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah,
I've seen people like been like, oh, I was inspired by this. Like I think I retweeted a couple where they were like, I was inspired by his fit, so like I wore something similar, but I didn't know there was like actual like,
well,
I know there was like there's like fan art, which is really cool. But
well, there's people that are like wearing and there's people that are wearing like your exact suit,
that's
and like
crazy.
your the feathers in there, and even I've seen a couple of them where they're actually doing the pose that you did in that photo that has been used.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so you're a huge inspiration to a lot of people.
Wow. Dang. That's a lot.
So I want to touch on something because I know that you're very passionate about it, and I really you have really great opinions on just voice acting in the industry.
Mhm.
So a little bit of a heavy subject, but sorry,
It's okay. What's up,
my
buddy?
doggo.
He's passionate about it too. He couldn't even let you get it
She's
out.
passionate about it, yeah. So as far as representation in anime and in voice acting, do you feel like it is an uphill battle for you, or is it kind of leveling out as far as the industry, because we're getting like more voice actors that just come from many different backgrounds now because of technology, or like what is your take on that, and what would you say to people that are trying to break into the industry that maybe do have the odds stacked against them for various reasons?
I don't know like if I'm an expert at this, but I am very passionate about it, as you said. Like I do think it's an uphill battle. I think it's uphill battle every day. Because I just think, like, I was talking to somebody else about this too, like as a Black actor and voice actor, you know that there are certain stories or people are creating content out there that will not include you, that will not even if you love it, you know what I mean? Anime is catered to a mostly Japanese audience. That's okay, right? But sometimes anime borrows from different cultures. It borrows from American culture. Sometimes it borrows from hip hop culture. Anime is like Samurai Champloo, Carolyn Tuesday, you know, both Shinichiro Watanabe, of course, because he's woke. But it's just interesting. It was interesting to see when I started breaking in, when I started trying to get into it, how hard it was, like, and how easy it felt that for me, like easy it felt for other people to get in and land leads, you know. And part of what I think there's like an anxiety among a lot of actors of color, and there's not that many of us. There's a handful and we're growing, but I think that's also part of it is because there's not that many of us, right? So, you know, how for studios, like if there's nobody on the roster, why go look, you know, like if you're in a time tight deadline, you know what I mean? Like, so they would rather just keep their roster. They're always open and looking, but I don't know if it's if it's enough in a 2-week deadline to get a cast together, you know. And then there's us on the other side who we have the anxiety of, are we getting the right opportunities? Are we getting the same opportunities as our peers? Are we getting the same in a volume and in weight and in role? Like, are we just getting handed the black character in anime, right? And that's like one every so often, and on top of that we're not even guaranteed to book the black character in the anime. The one black character that we do get, you know, we're not guaranteed to even get that or book it. So I think it is a uphill battle. It's a battle of anxiety, and it's a battle of opportunity, and it's a battle of fighting for the same opportunities that your peers get without having to fight as hard, just because they're in a position of privilege that you're not. People see black voice actors and think they can only do one thing. I think times are changing now. Like, studios are becoming more open-minded and trying to send things, you know, fairly. But I still think, for me, how I feel, it's still a fight. It's still a fight every day. Like, I still worry that I'm not getting the same opportunities as my peers. I still worry that I'm not reading for this project, or I'm not in with this studio, or, you know what I mean? So for newer voice actors who want to come in, if you're a person of color, please, like, the more people of color we have, the stronger our stance can be, right? So the more people can, the more the people who make the decisions can see that we're here and we have a voice. And I think it's just fighting for opportunities, whether that's emailing these studios, sending them your demos. If they forget it, send it a month later. Like, it's really, really about fighting, talking to your representation if you do have it, and being like, I want to read for everything. You know, it's finding your power as an actor, which is really hard, because we're really scared of burning bridges. We're scared of ruining opportunities for ourselves, which is possible. But I also think something like that is worth fighting for, because I came to a conclusion. Yeah, like, I came to a conclusion, like, why I love this thing. I grew up on anime. Why should I not get to be a part of it? You know, why does everybody else get to be a part of it? People who don't even love anime get to be a part of it. Why don't I? And why don't I get to be a part of it in the capacity that I want to see myself? So please help us. Yeah.
So on the subject of that, which is also another subject that is very heavy, but I think it's very, very important, especially for a lot of your fans.
Mhm.
Have you ever been told that you cannot be cast as a character for sounding a certain way? Like, you're in terms, you're too black.
Right.
Have you ever heard that? And have you been turned down for a role? And what would you say to people that maybe have been told that and are facing that?
I personally haven't been told directly, like, you sound too black to be this character. But I do feel like I have been told that indirectly, right? With, I'll get sides for a show that I know about, and I'll get sides for the black guy and just the black guy, and the black guy that's like not in my range, and I won't get sides for the lead who's probably more in my range. Like, I feel like that's like somebody indirectly telling me like what I can and can't do, which it may not be their intention. They may be just wanting to be like, you know, uh culturally correct, right? Cultural appropriate casting, which means, you know, you're African American, you know, clearly, so we want you to read for the role that, you know, you culturally come from. But that's not equal all the time. But I've never been personally told that. But I wouldn't be surprised if anybody has been. I've been told to sound blacker before. But I think to anybody who's been told or who's been didn't like. For me personally, I grew up being told that I talked white, right? So like I grew up being told all the time that I talk too white, or that I talk like a white guy or whatever. And and then like now I'm in this field and I'm like, well, I've been told this for too long not to use it now. I think I can sometimes I think I can not necessarily trick people, but like I think it would surprise people. Like, oh, like that voice came out of that guy, right? Like you would expect, so yeah, I've never been told that, but I think if you've been told that you sound too black to play something, um, you could get mad, but I think honestly, embrace it. Like embrace that. Like embrace some people who do look like us, right? Can't talk black enough, right? So I think there's a market there for you, and just learn how to go on the other side so you can kind of, I don't want to say trick them because that feels misleading, but like I've done auditions where I've sent in a take where I've sent in a take for a character that doesn't look like, that doesn't look like me. And I'm like, well, what if this guy was black? Like it'll be like a random like soldier, right, or something, and he'll be like 20 something and they don't specify an ethnicity. So I'll send them like a take of like neutral American, and then I'll send them a take of like, what if the guy was black? Maybe you could just make him black. I don't know. I don't see any black guys in this game or in this anime. You know what I mean? So I'd say just I've never been replaced or recast or turned away because I'm African American. But if you have, just know that like the people who turn you away because of what you look like aren't looking for you for your talent, right? Like they're looking for a sound. They're looking for what they know you can do. So it's them putting you in a box. And I don't know if you would want to work with someone who wants to put you in a box as opposed to letting you fly, and as opposed to letting you do what you want as an artist. So
right, thank you so much. I know that like that's a thank you for allowing me to put you on the spot like that and get your opinions of those of that as so with what you're up to now, what is something that you really enjoy as a voice actor? Like, what's the best thing that you enjoy about being a voice actor? And then what's the thing that you that's either annoying or you really don't like about the job as being a voice actor?
I really enjoy playing. Like, I really enjoy being, every time I'm in the space, every time I'm in the room, every time I get to act, it's everything. Like every time I get to feel, it's euphoric. Like I enjoy acting, so anytime I get to do that, I think voice acting gives me a little bit more freedom. I could play kind of whoever I want. Not, I can't, clearly, but like I can play outside of what people think I could play. And I'm glad I'm now in a position where people can start seeing it. Like I have proof. Like like I can play Hawks, I can play Ross, from
You can
Fire
play
Emblem.
Genya, you can play Remy.
And I'm not even, I wouldn't even say that my range is that spectacular, right? It's not, I don't think personally I have a super huge range. I think I stretch, but like I have like maybe the same 7 voices that I kind of mess around with, and I just think like just being able to storytell and feel is like the best part about it. The part I like the least about it is paperwork. That's the worst. Just let me act. Stop making me do stuff that's like requires math and signatures, and that's, I hate that. And I think it's just and also the being, like I said, the anxiety, right? Like being someone of color, like you're always wondering if you're getting an audition that somebody else is getting, like if you're getting to read for that really cool project that somebody else is probably reading for without worrying about it, right? Like that anxiety is worse than the anxiety of, am I going to work tomorrow, right? Like I know every actor is like, I don't know if I'm gonna have this job in a year, but I think worse than that for me is like, because I could deal with the quiet. I did 7 years without work. I'm very blessed right now, and God is good and he'll provide. So I trust in that. I trust God will provide, but the opportunities, like fighting for those, like I know there's like things that God's gonna do. He's gonna make sure I'm fed, but there's stuff that I also have to do, like make sure I'm getting the right opportunities. And
Right.
there's like I can't imagine being in a position where I don't worry about if I'm getting the opportunities that I want, you know. And I'm like, I was talking to a friend the other day, like imagine just not worrying about if you're getting auditions from a client, you know, like once you stop getting auditions from like a specific client, or you know what I mean, you're like, is it because I'm Black? Like are there other people auditioning for other like the main characters, and they're just, you know, waiting for the one guy that I might be able to play to show up. So that part is the worst for me. It's worse
Yeah,
than the
that's
paperwork. I would rather do paperwork.
yeah, no. For the people that are like aspiring voice actors, that are following you and are um, wanting to get into that, what would you say to them as far as how, I know I've seen a lot of voice actors like getting discouraged, like because they see larger names voice acting or auditioning for the same role, and they get, a lot of them have that same anxiety that you do and they don't audition. So you have people that are I mean, going back to the previous conversation, that are of other minorities and other ethnicities and could audition for it, but they see a large name and they get the anxiety about it. What would you say to them?
I say that large name person is a person just like you. Like you think they have a large name because you know of their work. Don't you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. You know, like you never ever ever know what the person behind the computer, behind the casting is looking for. Like you never know. Like I didn't think I was gonna get hot because I thought that was gonna go to a bigger name, right? I thought that was gonna go to a Billy Kometz or a Matthew Mercer or, you know, Crispin Freeman, whoever. And it went to me. Like I didn't see that coming, you know, like you never know. So put your best foot forward because you don't know what that's going to lead to. You don't know, like when I first auditioned for My Hero, and then I got Sakaki, and then I worked Sakaki, and then working Sakaki, Colleen was like, "Can you audition for Hawks afterward?" You know, like doing your best work in everything, in every small thing, being grateful, whether you believe in it. I think it's all. It's not. I think it's ordained. You know what I mean? Don't worry about, because big name actors are going through the same thing you're going through all the time, and they're you just don't discount your own talent. Like you've worked hard, you've been in classes, you've been working on your demos, you know, go for it. And if you don't get it, like you might not get it because somebody else's voice was raspy, or not that they're necessarily a better actor than you. You know, roles sometimes get chose by a coin toss. Sometimes they get chose because somebody's younger than you, or older than you. So I think even if you're not confident in yourself, do it anyway. Like I think the do it anyway like mentality will help you overcome that fear, because you're pushing through, you're doing it anyway, you're showing up, and showing up is one of the best things you can do for your career.
All right, thank you so much. Now we're going to open up the floor for questions. Before we do that, I just want to thank you for the conversation that we had. Just thank you for allowing the subjects, um, and for just being here with Equation Con and sitting down with me.
Of course, thank
Um,
you for having me.
so for the next 15 minutes, A-Dubs will funnel in some questions to you, and then we'll start taking some questions. A-Dubs?
Am I allowed to ask a personal question?
Ask a personal question, A-Dubs, please.
Thank you. Okay, so as someone who's had directors tell me I sound too Black or too ghetto to get a role, or I've gotten a role and they find out I'm Black and I've gotten recasted for that role. What would you tell the young Black aspiring voice actors who have dealt with that or think, I don't know if I sound like an anime character enough to get cast for a role in something I'd want to be cast in?
I would say to keep going to be the person that you needed to see when you were growing up. Somebody inspired you to do what you do. Somebody who might have looked at like you, somebody who might not have looked like you, but somebody inspired you, and they inspired you because they kept going. So a person who casts you and tells you you're too ghetto to get a role, that's not true. You're too Black to get a role, that's not true. There's so many wide spectrums of work out there that you can like, your sound is your sound and it's unique to you, and that's going to fit a character somewhere along the road. You've been recast, that's okay, because the roles, these aren't ours. I've been recast. Like, I was recast as Alan. That was my first ever role. Those roles aren't ours. We just get to live in them for a bit, and we grow and we move on and we learn. You're gonna learn your process, and you're gonna keep stretching your toolkit so you can do anything. Like, that's I think like the goal is so you could play anything. Your voice does sound like an anime character. There's somebody out there that you could play, that you can maneuver your voice to play. So I say to those people, keep going, because you're going to be inspiring somebody when you get there, right? You're going to be inspiring someone probably next to you who's there with you, who has been recast just like you, or who thinks that they don't sound like an anime character enough just like you. I didn't think I did either. I didn't think I sounded like Hawks. Somebody did. I didn't think I sounded like Genya. Somebody did. Somebody will think you sound perfect for whatever character is perfect for you. And they're going to be perfect for you because you're going to know. So I say keep going, because you're going to look back when you get to where you want to be, and somebody's going to be looking up to you, and they're going to thank you that you didn't quit or that you didn't back down, just because people out here aren't creative enough, or don't have an open mind enough, or don't know enough about people of color and our struggles and how we sound to be conscious and artistically intelligent. So I'd say don't hold that against those people. Those people are in the past. Those people are going to get passed up. Casting directors are always looking for new sounds, always looking for new talent. There's always going to be plenty of Black roles. There's going to be plenty of ghetto roles, and there's going to be plenty of smart Black girl roles. You could do whatever you want. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. I'd say that the most. Like, don't let anybody tell you what you can do with your art. That's the thing that I try to make clear the most with anybody, that's why I push my stuff to people, because I don't want to let anybody tell me what I can and can't do, because I, as an artist, know what I can and can't do. I know my limits, and I know when I'm doing something that's probably not, but I'm gonna go for it anyway, because maybe it will, or maybe it'll work. So that's a long-winded explanation, but I get really passionate about that because I understand. But I think that's the key, really, is don't let anybody tell you what to do with your art, because your art is yours. Your art is yours and it'll always be yours. So don't let anybody judge you for it. Even casting directors, if they don't pick you, whatever, that's not a reflection. It's never a reflection of your art. It's a reflection of whatever they're thinking about for the character. So don't let anybody tell you what you can and can't do. Just keep getting better. Just keep that. I'm going to do the same.
That was such a good answer.
Dashel, would you go ahead and ask your one of your questions, please?
Sure. Okay, so not really a personal question, but so are you aware of the anime JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
Of course I'm aware of the anime JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Okay, so there's like the next 3 parts possibly becoming an anime. Which character would you want to... Yeah, there's still 3 more coming up. So which role would you love to play? Like your dream role in the series?
In the next 3 parts?
Yeah.
I kind of want to play Emperino. I know a lot of people were thinking that I could play Weather Report, but I think he's good. He's probably a little too out of my range. He's probably a little too deep for what my range would be. We'll have to see. But I think Emperino would be cool. But I know like for the little kids, they usually cast girls. So probably Emperino. I'd like to play Emperino. I think he'd be cool.
Yeah, no, that's a good pick. All right, so we'll move on to the audience now. So there's one from, I believe, Sharka Frank. What's your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh series?
The first one? The first one, the original, the OG. I don't know which season out of those would be my favorites, but once they got the dual discs, it was a wrap. I wanted a dual disc so bad. I was talking with a friend the other day. Exodia is such a that. First of all, can we talk about Seth Green as Yugi? Just wow, what an amazing performance.
Yeah, that's a good answer. So from Darky Damien, if you had your own quirk, what would it be and why?
I've thought about this. I think it would be. It's not even a very cool quirk. It's not even. I don't know how applicable it would be in the greater. But I've always like wanted to see a character with crystallization powers. So that would probably be my quirk. You know, I'd be able to crystallize the moisture in the air around me and crystallize water and my blood if it came to it. You know, crystallize liquids. It'd be really cool.
All right, now we're gonna pass it off to A-Dubs. Take it away.
I was muted. Okay, so this is a question from CGZ. Who would you love to voice act in the future? A lot of these questions are here.
In the future, like in anything?
Anything.
I think I don't know. There's so much. There's so many. I've been thinking about Sonic the Hedgehog a lot lately. Like that would be cool. Yuji Itadori from Jujutsu Kaisen. Yes, please. If that ever happens, you didn't hear it here first, but I said it probably out loud first here. But yeah, like I think there's so many. Like it's hard to pick one. So I'll just say Sonic to answer the question.
It could be like a role. It could be like from an anime you've never heard of yet. What would be like your dream role? Like,
my dream role is the hero, is the anime protagonist. Like the one with the cool who's the underdog in the story, and he has a really emotional speech as he punches somebody in the face really hard. I just want to yell and like do attack grunts. And I know like a lot of anime like actors probably hate it, but those guys hate it because they get to do it all the time. I don't get to do it all the time. I don't get to hate it yet. So that's like kind of my dream role. Like I think I've done a lot of like cool, you know, like I think Hawks is it's very cool stepping stones like Genya and then Hawks, and so hopefully the protagonist is next, like the main.
And to start a hashtag ZENO for protag.
For protag, yeah. So that's like typical shonen. You know what I mean? Just like explosions and swords, but it's got to be fire. Like it's got to be animated by like Bones or Trigger or like, you know, Madhouse. Like it's got to be.
Oh yeah. Madhouse. Right up there.
It's got to be
Soul Eater kind of stuff.
Yeah, Soul Eaters, but that's what I mean. Like that's what
Tag ZENO for protag.
Then I can stop doing it, man.
I actually did have a question. I wanted to know. So there's a YouTube video that I saw that's like what it's like voice acting for anime, and it was a hilarious video. Huh?
I know Josija, who did the video. So
yeah,
he's hilarious.
How true is that of voice acting in anime specifically?
It's not too far off. You do the notice reactions are a thing. Open mouths are a thing. Like it's not too far off. It's a little bit of an exaggeration, but not much. Not much. He's not off by a lot. Even down to the titles, down to the Exceed, you know, Stardust, the fourth, the Revenge of Mooncrest. Like there's probably an RPG named that somewhere, I'm sure. And the main protagonist is voiced by Bryce Papenbrook, probably.
What is the craziest thing that you've had to voice? like a reaction take or something like that?
I can't say the project, but the craziest thing I had to voice was I did a creature for the first time, and it was really cool. And I didn't think I was going to get very far, but they were like, "Hey, they had this thing." They gave me a picture, and they were like, "Go for it." And I was like, okay. So I just did this thing, and I turned it into a creature, and it ended up being really cool.
Awesome. All right. So we have about 15 minutes left. So we're gonna get through a couple more questions from your fans, your audience.
I don't know what your schedule is like, but I can stay a little bit or later if that's
okay. Yeah. I'm okay with that. Probably maybe 10 more minutes, 15 more minutes.
That is.
We'll try to get through all the questions that we currently have in the roster.
Okay.
All right. Dasha?
All right, so this is from Retro Pokefan. Hey Zeno, got a question for you. You are in the new Pokemon season Journeys alongside Ray Chase and the returning New York talent pool of actors. How did you feel when you got casted for Go, I believe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Go.
I don't even know if I can talk about this. But let's, I guess, in a very safe way, I very, very thankful, very, very blessed. I grew up on Pokemon. So a lot of something that's very powerful for me is like my inner child. So like, I think he'd be over the moon, you know, like I grew up on it, and to be a part of that and potentially somebody else's childhood through that, and to like kind of play in that world is like, really, it's just an unexplainable feeling. Yeah. So and for, you know, the whole representation thing. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Hello.
All right. Yeah, that was a good answer. Good answer. I believe A-Dubs, go ahead and answer or ask your question.
Yeah. So this is from Delilah Zab. I totally don't know if we answered this question yet. She said, "Hello. What's your favorite part of voicing Hawks?"
My favorite part of voicing Hawks is trying to find the cool in everything. Like, I'm not as cool as Hawks, so I'm very much like animated and very expressive. And Hawks is expressive, but he's expressive in his own way. So my favorite thing is finding the cool in everything. And I love it when he switches. Like, I love it when he goes from being like really cool and laid back to very serious on a dime. So that's like, I think, the favorite aspect of voicing Hawks.
You're cooler than Hawks.
I'm not. I wish, though. Thank you, though. I really appreciate it. I don't know why I went to my mic. I mean, I guess because your icon is in that direction. Anyway.
All right. So next question from Dahlia Zap. Random question. Are you caught up with the My Hero Academia manga?
I haven't read the latest chapter, but yes. I guess the answer is technically no, but yes, I am caught up. I kind of do know what happens because I have friends who talk. So, yeah.
Nice.
nice.
Potatoes?
Ooh, this is a question. Okay, this is from Trigger Happy. What would your favorite My Hero Academia ship be?
Dun, dun. You're gonna start a flame war, my friend.
Really?
I don't.
I don't know what my favorite ship is. Come on. It's me and Mirko.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not answering. I'm not saying anything.
I'm not saying anything.
Safe.
All right, next question. Okay, this is from Starshly. Hey Zeno, do you have a favorite fan experience or fan moment?
favorite fan experience. I don't know. There's so many great ones. Every time, I guess like the ones that I've had in person, like my first ever fan experience was at Comic-Con, and a friend of mine, Danielle, she was a fan of Young Justice, and she lived out there, and it was my first time meeting up with a fan, and she had a letter, and it was very it was very touching. It was very, 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 very touching, to that somebody out there, my work, and it was the first time I ever had an experience like that. So the first time somebody my work had touched somebody far from me, and then the first time I got to up close kind of experience how that affected people, like how your art can speak to people, how it can help people, how it can make people feel. So I think that was probably my favorite, because it was the first one, the first time anybody had ever done anything like that. It was my first fan letter. It's the first anything. I don't even like calling it a fan letter. It was just a letter, it's just it's very personal, it's sweet though. I cherish it, so I have it in a box somewhere.
Yeah, that's very sweet. Yeah, lots of fans like that are very nice.
Yeah. I have one fan. I do another. I went to Grand Rapids, and I had one fan who was who had been following me since before Young Justice. They started following me Cyborg 008 days. They drove down to Michigan because they saw on Twitter that I'd be there for one day just to give me a folder of ZENO. It was a picture of ZENO in it. Because that's the person we want in Smash, and it was just so cool seeing somebody who had kind of followed my career from the beginning to where it was then, and just kind of meet them in person, and I got to meet them, and I was like, can I give you a hug? You're low key at day one. Yeah, so that was really cool.
A-dubs?
Okay, this is a question from Cracked Motion. They said, do you sneeze during recording?
Yes. I mean, I try not to though, because you can ruin a take if you sneeze in the middle of a take. I don't think it's happened too often though. I don't ever I've never sneezed in the booth and be like, oh man, I'm gonna remember that. Wow, that's my 5th sneeze today. So probably. I think I have. I've never sneezed in the middle of a take though. So there's that.
It's lucky.
Right, Dasha?
Yeah, sneezing during a take is bad. So this is from Sid's Cosplay on Discord. Hello, ZENO, huge fan of yours. My question is, what was your favorite moment at the Boku no Hero Academia movie premiere?
What a night. My favorite moment, very self-indulgent, very selfish moment, when Hawks came on screen, and it was the first time we were all going to hear his voice. And I was very nervous, because I was like, this is it. They either gonna love you or they're gonna hate you, man. You gotta be prepared. Actually, wait, I think they already had a preview before then, on Twitter. Funimation sent out a preview. But the everybody was cheering during the movie, and the way they cheer for Hawks. When I saw, this is what it is. When I saw my name in the credits, that and all my friends that were there cheered. It I don't know. There's something about that that's really emotionally powerful for me. I was like, wow, I'm here. I'm here with all of these incredible people, friends, new and old. One of my friends who, Ryan Bartley, who was I started this with, she was right next to me as we were watching this. And it was my first time seeing my name in credits ever, on a big screen. And it's always been a dream of mine. So yeah.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. It really is.
A-dubs?
That was mad cute. Okay. So from Sophie, what makes you feel really like connected to Hogs?
The way we both kind of are always thinking. Like I think like one of the things that makes Hawks a very dynamic character is there's always more going on here than he lets on. And I think like I'm kind of like that in a way that Hawks is always thinking, he's always planning and strategizing, even when he looks like he's not doing anything at all. He has a way of hiding it. And I think I'm very much like that. Like I'm always thinking about like, what am I going to do next? Like, what's my next move? Like, how do I improve? Like my brain's always working on something. And I wish it wouldn't, but it always is. And I think Hawks is too, but he's just much, much better and much, much cooler at hiding it and disguising it and being cool about it.
Dasha?
No, all right. So from Julian Hobbs, how did you get the audition for Genya?
Actually, I didn't audition for Genya. So technically I did. So I auditioned for Tanjiro, and which I begged for, and Inosuke. And so I was at another session for something else, and I got an email that I had been cast as Genya. And when I went in my session, the casting director played Mami. She played my Inosuke audition, and the Inosuke audition was kind of what they used as the starting point for Genya. So I guess they probably heard something they liked in my Inosuke read, and that was what inspired Mami to cast me as Genya.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't really hear many directors do that, but that's interesting.
I mean, sometimes they do. Like they'll be like, especially like I don't know about big ones, but like, like there's I think there's like a reason why you see like a lot of the same people, like a lot of the same stuff. Like even in animation, right? Because like you're the casting director, even in like prelay or video games, are like, oh hey, remember this guy did that cool thing like that in that one audition. And that's something I learned in a class too, is like casting directors will keep like the auditions that didn't work for the character but were really interesting in another folder and be like, okay, it didn't work for this guy, but we have this guy down the road and I really want to work with this actor. So they did this one very interesting thing here, and I'm just gonna give them that role and have them do that thing. So it happens.
That's pretty good. Yeah, in my experience, I had this one, like, it's for a fan project, one director who was like, you didn't do amazing on this audition. It could have been better. But this character over here, you can play him. So it was pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
Tornadoes?
A lot of people in the YouTube chat are just asking if you can do the Hawks voice.
I mean, what do you want to hear? Like,
what's your favorite line?
My favorite line is his original, his first line, his first ever line that I've ever spoken. I think that line will go down in history. But I don't know if I want to say it because I think it should be just immortalized in that one video. Unless the chat wants to hear it, then
you gotta say A-Dubs is awesome and she's the best, and everyone on the YouTube chat has to give her chocolate now.
Okay. Hey everyone. A-Dubs is awesome. She's the best, and everyone in the YouTube chat has to give her chocolates. So please do that.
Heard the man give me chocolate.
All right, Dashel, do you have any other questions from the chat?
How was working with Disney? Like, you worked on a
Big City?
Yeah. How was working with like Disney and all the voice actors? Like, how was as a company?
Disney, at least the animation branch. I haven't worked on any other branches. As a branch, is really, really fun. At least like the Big City people that I know. Like sometimes like they'll have us come up to the animation building and like watch a screening of an episode, right? So like when I was working on it like a couple years ago, was that a couple years ago? Sheesh. We were working on the Halloween one, which ended up being Blood Moon, and the Houghton brothers invited us, the cast, to come see the pitch meeting. So I was eating Frosted Flakes at 9 a.m, watching Gravity Falls, waiting for a pitch meeting. So it's really cool. Everyone's really, really nice. The work flow is really, really smooth when everything wasn't like this, and everybody's just really kind and funny, and the show's funny and fun to work with, and everyone's really sweet. So working for Disney is really awesome.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah.
All right, we have a question from Callum B. They ask, if you could be any other character from My Hero, who would you be? So anyone besides the characters that you play.
Deku.
Hashtag ZENO for a pro tag.
No, Justin does such a great Deku. So I can only see myself playing Hawks, but if I could, just because he's the main guy, and also Justin and I share a Japanese voice actor now. So
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that'd be it. But I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Yeah, there's the creed. You don't steal voices. You don't steal roles from other voice actors, right?
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. I mean, I wonder if everybody follows it, but maybe that's the creed. It's like the bro code, like hopefully nobody breaks it.
It's the Pirates of the Caribbean code, parlay, like the unspoken pirate code.
Yeah, like don't steal, but also like our roles aren't ours, like they're just not. Our roles are not ours. So,
True. So you gotta roll with it.
Yeah.
All right. So Smash Master 1234, they they say, just want to say that ZENO, you are an amazing person, and I'm probably sure that everyone was excited to see you here. Keep up the amazing work.
Dang, I might appreciate that. You guys are really sweet. Really, 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 like, just so nice. Like, so nice. I appreciate that. Hope you're doing well and staying safe.
They also say, also, I'd like to give a live and huge shout out to all the panelists and mods who made all this possible and got all these guests. You guys keep being amazing. Thank you, Smash Master.
Round of applause in the chats for the mods and the
Yay.
Thank you so much.
You're too kind. Stop it.
I want to see nothing but applauses in the chats, you guys. No more questions, just applauses.
Alrighty, so we are kind of, I mean, it's 2:03. How long do you think that you can stay? Like another I know you gotta work, so
sure. Yeah, I have work in an hour. I don't know if there's any more questions. If there's not, we can end it.
Well, there's another question from Sketchpad Amber. Out of all your roles you have done, which is your favorite?
I get asked this a lot. And I'm gonna disappoint like 5 million of you, but probably Cyborg. And I think it's mostly just because of the story of how that role came to be and how I came to be in that position, and how incredibly blessed and how incredibly good God is, and how divinely timed being in Young Justice was and is, so yeah, like it's probably Cyborg for just it just came at the right time. It was the right project, so Young Justice is one of my favorite cartoons. Being on it is nothing short of a dream come true. So yeah, like and it's like some of like the most in-depth acting I've been able to do in my career. So hoping I get to do more of that kind of stuff.
Would you say that Cyborg, the Cyborg role, was the one that kind of like put you on the roster on people's radar?
I'm not sure, because I thought it would. Like when I first got Cyborg, when Young Justice first came out, I was like, be ready, ZENO. All of the magic is about to happen right now. All the phone calls, all the everything. and like it just came and it went, and it was kind of auditioning and still. So I do think yes, I do think being in Young Justice, playing that character, like at that particular time, it did boost, like I guess one would say, like it boosted my resume in comparison, and that's another reason why people auditioned for the thing. I auditioned for Cyborg, didn't think I was gonna get it. I read it, it was codenamed. I was like, oh, this is Cyborg, Kari Payton. Why are they even giving me these scripts, these sides, knowing that Kari Payton's going to book this role? Who's gonna do Cyborg better than Kari Payton? So I did it, but I was like, goodbye to whatever that project was. And Kari Payton is a name, and I got to play Cyborg. So keep don't be afraid of the other voice actors. They're just people.
Do the thing.
Do the thing. Do your art. Just you love it. Don't worry about us.
Dashel, you said that you have a question.
Yeah, I do actually have one more question. So with the whole COVID-19 problem going on, how is it affecting your line of voice acting, like your voice acting work?
It's confining me to this space, and I don't like it. That's kind of like I think like voice acting is very fortunate in that our section of the community can still work because we can build at home studios, or we can get some stuff and put it in our closet. If we with the right materials, we can still work. Like a lot of the animation studios can work remotely. So it's mostly affected my work in bringing more anxiety. Like, is my studio not up to par? Do I not have the right equipment? But like, you would be surprised how much little can go a long way. Like how okay a lot of people's studios are, and you'd be surprised how many of like your name people don't have at home studios, and they're still being able to make it work. So that's the biggest thing, is just moving. I like being in the space of a studio personally. So working, I like having that separation between home and work. So working at home has been a little difficult because I just want to be somewhere else.
Yeah, the whole working at home thing is an interesting phenomenon.
Yeah, very.
But it's been cool. Still been able to work. I've done a couple new projects in there. So I just hope it doesn't become a preferred. I don't think it will, but I hope not.
I don't think it will either. I mean, it's not sustainable in the long run. You can't get the same quality.
Exactly.
Yeah. So as far as you like what you've been working on, what do you do outside of your job as voice acting? Like, do you have hobbies, or are you just go?
Just an acting machine. I don't have any hobbies. What are you talking about? If I'm not acting, I'm sleeping. That's it. I just get up, I act, and I go back to sleep. I shut down. I want to pick up more hobbies. When I'm not acting, I like creating. I like writing. I want to do more of that. I just get distracted with video games all the time. So I've been gaming a lot.
What video games you playing?
I'm Apex Legends just released their new season.
Right. Yeah. How is that?
I'm on it. I love Apex Legends. There's something masochistically enjoyable about it, where you'll die immediately and want to play again. Like, I got to get better, to the point of insanity. I definitely am looking into buying Indivisible. It's on sale right now. I've really been loving indie games. So there's that. So yeah, like I kind of. Oh, you know what? I just did a playthrough of Breath of Fire. I'm about to play through the whole Breath of Fire series. Hopefully, I can stream it. But yeah.
You have a Twitch? Do you stream on Twitch?
I kind of do, but please don't follow it, because I'll only go live to test streams, because my stream, there's something wrong with it. I had to download a sound thing, and you'll see me like talking incoherent
to yourself
in my microphone, like, why isn't this working? Like, what do I? And just hear like random clicking every 2 seconds. So.
I get that. So if they want to watch you stream, where do you stream at? On Instagram?
I will. It'll be on Twitch, but once I figure it out, yeah, I'll say where. It'll be obvious.
Okay.
It won't be I don't plan on becoming some streamer. I just asked the Twitter, like, they would prefer me to stream my next Breath of Fire playthrough as opposed to live tweeting it.
Okay, nice. Yeah. So is there anything that you can share right now that isn't tied up in NDAs and muzzle codes that you can share that you're working on? Or
once COVID started, I did another episode of Big City Greens, so that's still going. There will be more episodes of Big City Greens to come. I'm in this visual novel called The Legend of Rune. It's a boys' love novel, so discretion, I guess, advised. That's probably I joked. I hope it's not true. I was like, this is gonna be this is it. This is my protagonist role. That's it. It's gonna be this visual novel.
Do you play a main character?
Yeah, I'm the main character in the lead in the visual novel. I'm Rune.
What's it called again?
The Legend of Rune. Yeah, it's supposed to come out this year. So hopefully is that all I can speak on? I guess, man, NDAs suck.
Yeah, I saw somebody on Twitter that basically their handle was "My life is just a web of NDAs," or no, it was like anything in my portfolio is tied up in NDAs.
I have an NDA. Yeah, I can't say anything. But so watch Pokemon Journeys on June 12th. Yeah.
So what is your favorite anime? Maybe like a classic anime that maybe you grew up on?
That I grew up on? Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yes, totally.
I mean, that's got to be in everybody's top 5. If it's not in your top 5, do you like anime? If it's not in your top 5, that means Sword Art Online is your top 5.
Sword Art Online.
There's nothing wrong with Sword Art Online. The new season was actually fire. I really wanted to voice Isekan too. I in the new season, but he was already cast by the time it came around. So, but much love to Koi. Love Koi. So I'm glad it's Koi.
Can you speak on a little bit of your role as Prince Kelby in the Netflix series Cannon Busters?
Oh, yeah. So Kelby Cannon Busters was a great project because LaShawn Thomas is really cool. Cannon Busters, I met LaShawn Thomas, honestly, at Anime Expo 2 years before when he premiered the trailer, or I think the first trailer of Cannon Busters. And I went, I had no idea who he was. And I was like, oh my God. This is when I wasn't working, and I approached him after, and I was like, I like wrote down my information on like one of the Anime Expo like inside paper things. It was just my email, and I was like, hey, I was dressed in cosplay. He probably didn't take me seriously at all. I was like, hey, like I'm a voice actor. Oh, and now I'm realizing how I came off too. I'm in cosplay. I'm saying I'm a voice actor. Here's my information on this ripped up piece of paper. But you know what? My God is real. He will make a way.
What? Okay, sorry. What year was this? I have to know.
This was like, I think this was either 2015 or 2016.
What cosplay were you in?
I was Omoi from Naruto, so he probably didn't even recognize who I was. On top of that, it was just some guy with like terribly painted silver hair and a fake sword, like giving him a piece of paper with his email on it.
Talk about blessed and highly favored, ZENO.
I'm a voice actor, and if you ever need any voices for this, I would love to be a part of it. Here's my information. And he was like, okay, cool, thanks, man. Yeah, I'll let you know if there's anything that comes up in the pipeline. Like right now we kind of have the cast, the main 3, so he's like, I'll let you know if there's anybody else. I was like, for sure. Never heard anything. And then Stephanie Shea over at NYAV sent me an email with the audition for Kelby. And she actually reached out because I had auditioned for a couple other roles through my agency before. And I was like, I remembered, and I thought Cannon Busters was done. So I was like, oh, they're like Philly the Kid and like this other role. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. But she reached out personally, was like, have you like read for Kelby, this character yet? And I was like, no. So she sent it to me and I read and I sent it in. That was hard because NYAV works very specifically and they work very much different from a lot of studios, which is great. That's why all their dubs are amazing. But I left my first session like, I'm a garbage actor and I suck at this, and maybe I should like look into going to become a lawyer because I shouldn't be acting anymore because of how horrible I am. So for me personally, my best work in Cannon Busters was from like episode 10 or like episode like 8 on. But I loved it. I loved the whole experience. Like I like Leishan and I would talk. Like I got to show him the picture of like, I was like, we met actually before this some years ago.
Oh yeah, that guy that I didn't actually think was a real voice actor.
Right.
That's great.
He was like, that's cool, man. That's cool. He probably forgot. He's so busy, you know, and he just has a very interesting outlook on like the industry and like work. And like, you know, I remember him saying very specifically he wanted Cannon Busters to not be a black show. He just wanted it to be a show with all black people. So that's why it takes place on a planet that's not Earth. It doesn't come rooted with any kind of black history. They're just these characters that exist, which is what was kind of liberating about Kelby, was I didn't have to try to make Kelby sound like anything.
I love that. I think that it's so great that it was basically just like almost like a free for all. It was like a Samurai Champloo, very very Samurai Champloo feeling in my opinion.
It was very like Bebop, Trigun, Samurai Champloo, Borderlands. Like if you just took like all those things and put it in one thing. But I loved it. It was very, very fun. It was very fun to do. A very fun project to work on. And I'm glad I got to be a part of that, like a part of that kind of history of having like an anime directed by a black man, all black cast, legit all black cast too, like not all black cast on screen, but also behind the mic, you know, so yeah.
That's awesome. So we have a couple of last minute questions here. Spicy Lady Talks.
Spicy Lady.
Are you doing any more work with Star Child? If you can talk about it.
They haven't bound me to any NDAs, but I personally haven't done anything more than what I sent them, which is what you guys are hearing. So
would you mind, just for anybody that doesn't recognize the name right away?
Right.
Star Child.
So Star Child is a project being developed by Gabe Kunda, best known as the beautiful, sexy trailer man voice that you hear in a lot of stuff. And he's Rock Lock in My Hero. He's a singer. He's just, if I could just have a crumb of that man's talent, like I'd add just everything. Like if I could just have just a crumb of whatever God sprinkled on him, that'd be great.
Sugar, spice, and all the talent.
All of it. So he's creating a show with I Love Brandon. I don't even know Brandon's last name, but that's his like musician name, and he's a musician producer. They're making a anime project with Powerhouse Animation, who does Castlevania, Seis Manos. So they're doing a project about a guy named Aaron Akari who owns a mech, and
it's that one. Okay, that's what I was wondering. And like I've been following him on Twitter, and just like everything looks so amazing. So
yeah, so that's Star Child, and you're asking the wrong person, because I don't know anything beyond what he's telling people. So I know like there's a hoverboard racer girl that he knows that they're best friends with his brother, and he's being chased by. They just announced the dude he's being chased by. So yeah, I haven't done anything outside of what they sent me. I'm assuming that's because they're still developing, and so yeah, I haven't done anything outside of it.
Sharka Frank says, can you tell ZENO I love him and wish him well on his character journeys?
Oh, thank you. And you as well, Sharka.
And then Dahlia Zap.
I love you and wish you well.
Dahlia Zap asks, who is your favorite anime pro tag?
Subaru Natsuki, I think. From Ray Zero. Probably my favorite pro tag. I actually really wanted to be Subaru. Yeah, I think he's just so realistic. I think like he's just such well, it's yeah, I think he's just such a realistic character. Like his power, his ability is like you don't even think about the potential like fallout and consequences of it. Like when I first started watching the show, I was like, oh, this dude's good. Like he's gonna be chilling. And then like the psychological effects, he's just everybody hates him because they think he's a jerk, but I don't think so. I just think he's a person. I just think he's the most realistic, well-written character in anime history so far. Like because he has such a human arc. He's like, I don't want to do any of this anymore. I would rather run away. Like I fell in love with this person. I'm sorry that I don't love you. Like he is so realistic, and he has such great human just breakdown moments that I'm just like, yo. And then he has the greatest monologue in all anime history, like 5 minutes of just him pouring his heart out and screaming and yelling at the world. And I was in a place when I watched that anime where I was like, I have to play this guy for it, because he gets me. I get him. I understand him. But yeah, Super Natsuki, I think, is my favorite pro tag.
All right, and then let's see. Nakeem says.
Nakeem, hello.
They asked last minute question: Yoroichi or
or Mirko?
Mirko,
bro,
yeah.
Why do you have to do this to me, man? Why you gotta?
On the spot.
Mirko, bro. Sorry, new blood, man. You know the eyelash. It's probably the eyelashes, dog. Her eyeliner is so winged, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying?
All right.
That's funny. What you gonna do?
And then Dahlia Zap says, Zeno, you are so talented, and I just want to say, keep doing what you're doing because it's changing history.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Hope so.
All right, Zeno, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, you're always so fun to talk to.
Yeah, thank you. You as well.
Thank you. Where can your fans, I'm sure they already know where to find you, but where can they find you? Where are you most active? And do you have any like online merch stores or anything that you want to like let your fans know?
So you can probably find me around the corner. I do like daily jogs. So just come by and say hello. If you want to find me on the internet, I'm at Childish Game ZENO pretty much everywhere. And I'm doing V shouts soon. So that's like a thing you can go and like buy a print, and I'll sign it here and send it and send you a video. I think that's how it works. I'll figure it out. I'm doing a Color World event on the 24th. So check that out. There should be a link. I'll probably pin one on my Twitter because I haven't yet, because you know the Pokemon post is still there, which I haven't responded to all of you yet. But I'm doing an event with Color World. You can get like personalized messages. There's a one-on-one hangouts if you want to just sit and talk with me for like 5 minutes. Tell me about your day. Tell me about your problems. I'm here. I'll listen to it. And there's like a panel I'm doing with Christopher Waycamp, who's really dope, really sweet dude. I met him when he was out here. He's Aizawa. And someone else, I forget their name. I'm so sorry. I'm going to apologize to them probably at the chat. But it's me, him, and one other My Hero cast member on the 24th. I don't know the time because I suck. So I will.
What is time?
Yeah, well, I know. Right, well, I just, you know, what is time? But yeah, so.
All right.
I think that's all the things I have to plug. Oh, watch Pokemon Journeys on June 12th.
All right. Well, we have hashtag ZENO for ProTag in
Let's
the live chat.
Look, all you gotta do is just ZENO for Yuji. You know, if I'm Yuji, Jujutsu Kaisen, that's it. That's all I need. I just want to be Yuji. That's it. I love
I'm
Jujutsu
on
Kaisen.
Twitter by the end of the day, bro.
Look, we're getting information on the anime. I think Sunday, because finally we're getting an update. So I'm very excited. Jujutsu Kaisen does not miss. It doesn't miss. Everybody watching this, go read Jujutsu Kaisen right now. Like experience the rest of Equation Con. But when Equation Con's done, go read Jujutsu Kaisen.
All right. I just want to say thank you to everybody that has hung out with us today and have watched this panel and all your questions. They were great questions. Thank you to our moderators, A-Dubs and Dashel Star, as well as Beck Noir. Thank you all for coming to Equation Con. We have a couple more panels today if you want to check out the Discord. And thank you very much. So we'll go ahead and stop the live. So thank you very much, everybody, for attending.